All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Sportsman. We've got Joey D. We've got Mikey V back this week. Missed him dearly last week. We missed our guy dearly.
We always
Joe.
do. We always do. It's never the same when Mikey's not in the Sportsman episodes. It's always it's a little lackluster. It feels like it's like having a sundae and not having a cherry on top.
Somebody's got to keep up with Joe, man. Someone's got to tame Joe when he needs to be tamed. He's got to be tamed. He's like a lion. He's like a lion out there.
I feel like Mikey and I, though, have been in real. I mean, aside from him banging me on the Brilliantly Dumb show with the AI picture,
that was unnecessary.
Like aside from that, like
now
we've been really good.
Joe, didn't I send you a picture today that AI did and you looked incredible? Did it not?
Yeah, and I said that was also ridiculous because I don't look as good as it made me look in that.
This is AI. This is AI.
But I'm saying AI should be realistic.
Mikey,
I agree.
Did you not type the word fat in?
No. It was a buzzword.
Would I do
Come
that
on.
to my pal?
I think you would. I think you would.
It was a definitive buzzword, man.
I think you do it to Joe, for sure.
That's ridiculous.
I will say every single one that has come through Perez has been hysterical.
He looks great.
Perez is really good for AI. I don't know why that is, but it's just Perez just can't miss in general. Guys just got it. Whatever it is, he's got it. He rarely misses.
Man. He's got something, that's for sure.
All right, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube, to the Instagram, fire questions in there, and then we'll kick them back to us at the end of each episode, and we will answer them accordingly. But let's just jump right into a lot of moves with NFL players, a lot happening. I'm just going to run through some of these names, and you guys give me a quick take on each of them. Russell Wilson, cut. Thoughts?
Yeah, massive cap saving for Denver. Only move that makes sense really for them. Writing was on the wall. I think really at the end of his first season, if he had another lackluster season, I don't think this year was as miserable as the year before. But even still, just the whole dynamic with Sean Payton, it just seemed awkward from the jump. And Denver's one of those weird teams that, that GM and the way they've handled business recently, I just don't know. Like they're kind of, man, I'm glad about one thing. The Bears, they turned the Bears down, and the Bears are ready to offer 3 number 1 picks for Russell Wilson.
Oh man,
oh man, did the Bears dodge a bullet with that? And I'm not saying that Russell
would have been horrific.
I'm not saying that Russell can't go somewhere and maybe do better. But I do think that his play the last 2 seasons is concerning enough to the point where I wouldn't want to be the GM that takes the gamble on it, unless it's a really last ditch effort where they just have to toss up a Hail Mary and hope. But maybe somebody's going to get Russell on a really cheap deal somewhere. And, but to me, it's just a guy that at this point I would just not want to have anything to do with at this. He
looked a lot more competent.
He did
this year.
He did,
and I think a big portion of that is, Sean Payton compared to Nathaniel Hackett. That's a big difference. You were right, Mikey, right out of the gates. Like it looked like him and Sean Payton didn't see eye to eye.
Yeah,
there was definite definitive, there was just a
tension
gap between the two of them. Tension.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like Sean Payton was trying to call the game one way. Russell was trying to, maybe not in sync with where he was seeing things. And, I thought that the writing was on the wall. I thought it was a terrible deal initially to begin with. But yeah, I think at least to Russell's, to his defense, he showed some competency this past year. He had some games. They beat the Chiefs. They went on a little run there where they looked pretty decent.
They did go on a run, and he was, you know what it was Russell going off script. Russell running the football a lot more. He was averaging a rushing touchdown every game. I had him that late push in fantasy where he was putting up numbers every week because he was running the ball a lot more and just going off script a bit more. And I think that's kind of who Russell is, honestly. Russell is not a guy to me who is a script quarterback. Yes, he could make throws and he could operate from the pocket when he had to, but Russell to me made some magical stuff happen in Seattle when he went off script a little bit. And I think you saw a little bit of that in the second half of the season last year. You saw the rushing touchdowns go way up. They went on the run. Like Joe said, they beat the Chiefs. Denver definitely better last year, but again, definitely in retrospect, that was a failure. The Russell Wilson experiment in Denver was more of a meme generating experiment and result than anything else. It just generated a ton of these memes and jokes, and they were like the butt of a lot of jokes for the last 2 years. And I think Denver just kind of wants to reset things and, pursue a young quarterback. Now, how they're going to get that done, I don't know. Where they're going to land, I don't know, but it'll be interesting. But Russell, I don't know.
One last point. The Broncos have done this in the past when they went with Peyton Manning years ago. I mean, Peyton Manning was not the Peyton Manning that he was with in Indianapolis. They just had such a good team around him with Von Miller. That defense was fucking unbelievable that they're still able to win a Super Bowl. But they've done this before where they've taken a chance on a guy and it's, not necessarily been the same quarterback that they got when, they brought him into the fold. So who knows? It'll be interesting to see what Mikey, I didn't realize that the Bears were going after Russell. Like that is huge.
Yeah.
That is
a
a
couple of years ago.
Yep. Good thing that you guys avoided that.
They offered
God.
three firsts and like 2 starters to
That
Denver.
would have been horrible.
That was the year before the offseason that they went into when they were drafting Justin Fields. Right before they drafted Fields, that was the deal that they offered Denver. And Denver turned it down, and man, thank God they turned it down. That would have been a franchise crippling deal because, I mean, listen, hindsight's 2020. Maybe he comes to Chicago and does well. I don't know, but certainly, in retrospect, I'm glad they didn't do it. So,
yeah, you know who I thought was going to be a great Denver quarterback? This is a while back. I think he was drafted the same year Nick Foles was. One was out of Arizona, the other was out of Arizona State. I thought Brock Osweiler was going to be. Thought he was going to be the next big thing. And to be honest, I don't think he got much of a shot. But when he did play, he didn't look
like 6'9".
Yeah,
he was 6'9" or 6'7". Well, he got paid by the Texans paid him. I mean, the Texans, I think, gave him a deal, if I'm not mistaken.
They did.
Yeah, they gave him a pretty nice bag after the because I think he played in a couple playoff games for Denver, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going to look up what his contract was with the Texans gave him a 4-year, $72 million deal.
Holy
so he got a bag.
Shit.
He did well for himself.
I don't remember him
That's
playing a single game for
37 million guaranteed. Yeah, because he was an utter bust. Once they did that deal, it was like one of the worst deals ever. He stunk.
But I don't remember him suiting up once. Like not even. I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to Russ, though, I mean, I think, like you said, the memes and stuff, like he's just become this joke. He's always been a clown, like an easy guy to clown, but for such a long time, his play was so good that it was kind of hard to make fun of him. These last 2 years have just been such an utter failure that people are just unleashing on this guy.
Imagine he went back to Seattle.
Oh, I think he'd do better there.
I mean, they actually got weapons on offense.
They do have weapons. They have weapons, certainly. They got 3 legitimate wideouts. They got a
hell of a running back.
Got a great running back, young running back. Yeah, I mean, but I think they're going to just stick with Geno over there for the time being.
Geno
to figure that out.
That's a nowhere road, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's one of those things where like NFL quarterbacks is just so fickle. It's just so fickle.
My point bringing that up is I think that there's a lot of teams that will actually spark interest with Russell. Because I think
Russell is nothing more than some of these other rental guys like Baker Mayfield. Like Baker Mayfield, yes.
Sure. Baker Mayfield played great this last year.
but is he ever going to get you over the hump to a Super Bowl? My opinion, no. Lamar Jackson, as great as Lamar Jackson is, much as I love the Ravens this past year and really thought they were good, like he's kind of like echoing that opinion that he can't win, get you to the big. Yeah, dude, I'm being dead serious.
You went from Baker to Lamar, dude. That's
no. Listen. Lamar over Baker. I'm just saying there's this echelon of quarterback that until they win playoff games, they're all the same to me. They really are, like, give or take. Yes, Lamar's a league MVP. I understand that. That's all well and good. But I guarantee every Raven fan and the Ravens organization would trade the MVP trophies for an AFC title trophy. Or certainly a Lombardi trophy, but an AFC title trophy. And just these guys that just are these rental guys that just never. Kirk Cousins, another guy who puts up great numbers. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, we talked about him last week.
He's been fantastic. And listen, a team would be lucky to have him because he's consistent enough to the point where you're going to win games and you can get. But
now with the Achilles tear?
Is he going to get you? Is the quarterback going to get you over the hump? Is he going to win?
Are you throwing Josh Allen in there too? Then.
Well, Josh has been to the conference title game multiple times, right? At least twice. I think he's been to the AFC title game twice. And you know what? Josh really drew the short end of the stick because he keeps drawing the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And so
even
Lamar this
last year, he played a great game and they got
unbelievable.
He did. And you know, the Bills, they cut a ton of fat today. They got rid of basically their entire starting secondary. They cut not Micah Hyde, who's going to be a free agent, but they cut Poyer. They cut Tre'Davious White. So, you know, they're making room for something. I would imagine it's to get Josh more help on the offensive side of the ball, because outside of Steph Diggs, who was kind of absent in the playoff game, and this guy, Gabe Davis, who just shows up one week and then the next week is nothing.
He had the massive week 3 years ago.
Inconsistent group of weapons. I really like James Cook. I think that's a guy that Buffalo could rely on moving into next season. Improve the O-line, get Josh some more weapons. But going back to the original point with Russell, I just think Russell at this point, now Russell's won Super Bowls, so he's different. He's a different caliber guy for me. But at this point, like, what is Russell going to be the guy that elevates you to that next level? I don't know. I don't think so anymore. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think
if you gave him a good offensive side, and then like say if you put him on the New Orleans Saints, Is the
Saints offense that much better than the Broncos? though? I mean, the Broncos.
I mean,
you just hate Derek Carr. You just hate this.
Derek Carr is truly one of the worst. I'm just saying, listen, I'm not a huge Russell guy. I've not sung his praises in a while, but the guy's got enough experience and he's got the wherewithal that I think if you paired him on a team that had a good defense and then a pretty solid offensive set of weapons, I think he could do okay. I really do. I even think on the Raiders he could be okay.
He just looks broken.
I thought Denver's defense was decent enough, and he's had some decent receivers over there. You know, with
Sutton,
and then even with Jerry Jeudy and with the other kid. Oh my God, my names are all over the place today. But the receiver who got hurt like back-to-back years, unfortunately, but he was good too. But I thought he's had enough weaponry in Denver to certainly have done something more than he did.
And the running back too, Javante's pretty good. He's not amazing.
Williams is a good back. No, he's a good back.
He's good.
He's a good back, and he catch the ball out of the backfield. I mean, he's a good back. I don't know what Russell. I don't know.
He just looks broken, man. I would take most quarterbacks in the league over him. I don't know if it's the yips. I don't know what it is. He just don't seem right, man.
Would you take Jared Goff over him?
Yeah, I would.
Would you take Derek Carr over him?
No, I wouldn't.
No,
not a chance. Would you take Ryan Tannehill over him?
No.
That's
Ryan
closer.
Tannehill to me is like the same.
It's not even close. Come on,
bro.
Russ
can't do anything anymore. This guy's bro.
Yeah,
and why they
really
benched him?
Can't.
There must have been something going on behind the scenes, because why they benched him after that one bad game when they started going on a roll, something was going on there. I don't know what it is.
I think they knew that what they were going to do. I think they knew they were going to cut him, and I think to do a courtesy for him. And I don't think he was that, like, wasn't openly like outraged about it. I think for him, it's like, listen, do you really want to play and risk tearing your Achilles or pulling an Aaron Rodgers, or tearing your ACL, pulling a Kirk Cousins, whatever it is, and then you're going to miss out potentially on getting paid this offseason if they knew they were going to cut him? If they did that and they were very transparent and upfront about it, that's actually a pretty classy move on their part, I would say, if they could have came to some kind of mutual agreement about it, if that's the way it went down.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what happened, then that is classy. It's classy.
The writing was on the wall. Sean Payton was not.
Yeah. Not thrilled with him.
Sean Payton's a diva.
Totally. After the remarks he made about Nathaniel Hackett,
dude, just like the fanfare that he came in on to get there. It was just like this guy's not Bill Parcells, man. Like,
They traded a first round pick for him. I mean,
I
geez.
know.
I mean, I thought that was absurd. But
Did you guys see that movie about Sean Payton, played by Kevin James, about his off season?
No.
Bro, you
What's
gotta
that, Tick?
just watch the trailer.
It sounds awful.
It's the worst thing
I was gonna
ever
say it
seen.
sounds terrible.
Just do yourself a favor and just watch the trailer. Don't even watch the movie. Just take a look at that trailer.
Kevin James should stick to Mall Cop and UPS with King of Queens.
King of Queens. That's a good show.
Big meme guy.
I do love King of Queens, yeah.
King of Queens is a great show. All right, let's move on here. Next, we got Saquon Barkley. Not tagged. Got options. Where's he going? What are you guys thinking?
But not tagged.
Bagged, but not tagged.
A little birdie told me that he could be heading over to Dallas. Is what a little birdie told me. But honestly, after today, when I thought about the moves that Buffalo was making in the salary cap savings they were going to have, I thought Buffalo may be an option. But again, I just can't see Buffalo dropping a bag when you have a guy like James Cook. I think Cook is so good, man. I really do.
They didn't use him enough, though.
I agree.
They had Latavius Murray going in and out of there. Like, I thought they could have used him a lot more.
Yeah.
Three teams that I think he could end up on: the Houston Texans, the Dallas Cowboys, and unfortunately, and I hope it doesn't happen to my team, the Chicago Bears. There's been a lot of mullings ever since it was possible that they weren't going to tag him, that the Bears would have interest in him. Yeah, it would be. They just need so much more. They just need to allocate so much more money into their trenches, though, Joe, that I just don't see it being a smart move for them. If they get him, of course, I'll be excited because he's a star player in this league, no doubt about it, when he's healthy. But I just think that their resources should be dumped into the trenches, build from the front, and then, add your bells and whistles when you can. But we'll see. But those are the three teams, if I had to guess, Tick. I would say the Texans, Cowboys, or Chicago.
Joey D?
I think any team that would get Saquon would improve immediately. I think he has had to for years, play on a team where there was just not offensive weapons on the wide receiver end of the ball, which means often heavy stacked boxes, preparing for the run. I mean, if you put him on a team where you actually have some weapons on the wide outside of the ball, I think he could be huge. He's only increased his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. I think he's a great piece. Not just because he's a friend of the pod, but because I also see just the value that he brings. In terms of where he goes, I really don't know. I would say maybe. Now I know the Vikings are getting rid of Madison. They got that one, Chandler. Maybe that'd be a good place to go. You got Justin Jefferson out there.
That would be wild.
I mean, that'd be
wild. Yeah.
And then Jordan Addison. And I mean, that offense, I don't know what they're going to do for quarterback.
They got to figure that out first.
So I don't know, but I'm just saying, just from thinking about it, you put Saquon on that team, man. Oh my God, man. That would be, you'd have, especially too, one of the best tight ends in the league. You got two, between Justin Jefferson and then Jordan Addison, two of the best, A and B, combo wide receivers. That team would be stacked. So I don't know though. I don't know where he's going to go.
If the Bengals do what I've been hearing that they're going to do, which is
cut Mixon,
Joe Mixon, that
really?
could be an interest. Yeah.
Why?
For what reason though?
They need to clear they need to clear a lot of money, because remember now they franchise tagged T. Higgins already. T. Higgins has been tagged. That happened days ago, March 5th. Yesterday.
And by the way, that's
2 days ago. I think it happened 2 days ago.
Really smart move.
It's a move that they had to do because Higgins is a 1 on some teams in this league. He's a 2 on the Bengals only because of Chase. But they're going to have to pay Chase and they're going to have to pay Higgins. In order to do that, you're not going to pay Joe Mixon anymore. So I get why they may do it. But that would be interesting to bring Saquon in on a 1-year deal in Cincy.
Wow.
And could you imagine that offense with Saquon, Higgins, Boyd, Jamar, and a healthy Chase. Joe Burrow? Oh my God.
But the issue there is a very similar issue with the Bears. Wherever Saquon goes, in my opinion, The offensive line, dog,
The line,
he
yeah.
needs to protect himself. He can't go to one of these teams like the Bengals and get crushed back there. That's why I actually think Houston would make a lot of sense. I think
Houston.
What about the
Houston I've heard
Ravens?
a lot. I was just going to think. I was thinking of the Ravens in my head, Joe.
Imagine.
The only issue I have with the Ravens is like if you sign there as a running back, it's like a death sentence because all these guys just get hurt
It's
every
true.
single year.
I
Whatever
know, but
reason,
if they
running backs
offer
get hurt.
they offer him a huge bag, I mean,
Oh no, sure, yeah.
Could
No,
you imagine Lamar with Saquon, and then you still got, I mean, Flowers is a
They
great
need
wide
to-
receiver.
they
I mean,
need-
I don't know.
They need to do something because the window there, like these other windows, man, it's just like I don't know. It's not even like I could say the window's closing because as long as you have to deal with the Kansas City Chiefs and number 15, I don't know when the window's really ever truly open in the AFC because of that team. I mean, it's going to get to the point now with the Chiefs where if they don't win the Super Bowl, it's going to feel like it's an outlier year and maybe Mahomes got hurt or something weird happened because, I mean, they're just a factory. So to keep up with them, I think maybe it would behoove Baltimore to do something like that. Again, you just have to hope that they stay healthy because Baltimore is one of the most snake-bitten teams in the league with injuries for whatever reason. It just always seems to be, especially at the running back position.
Yeah, like that year the
Dobbins and
Bengals.
Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah, like the year
Both
the
those guys
Bengals
got
went
hurt.
to the Super Bowl, that felt like an outlier year. Like that
Yeah,
felt
absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
it was so strange to see
Absolutely.
anyone other than the Chiefs representing the
Absolutely.
AFC.
Absolutely. That's what it's going to feel like now. It's just crazy.
And like you mentioned a few pods ago, this was everyone's best shot. They're gonna get better. They're going to be
Yes.
better moving forward.
They're going to be
So,
significantly better next year, man.
yeah, they are.
Significantly better. Like they're going to grab one of these like free agent wideouts that's like not great, like a Darnell Mooney or a Calvin Ridley, like not like a superstar guy anymore, but somebody who's like a reliable pass catcher. They'll draft some kid. It'll work out because their front office just does a great job identifying talent. Like these new offensive linemen they bring in, and all of a sudden they're just great offensive linemen right off the bat, like a Creed Humphrey, somebody like that. Like they're just a great organization, man. They're just a great top to bottom organization.
They weren't for a long time though.
They weren't, but they are now, man. And they're the best at it. They're the best.
Takes
in the business.
Takes one guy to change a franchise. And Mikey, do you have a guy coming your way maybe who can change franchise?
Caleb?
Caleb.
We'll see. We'll see. He could be a bust.
Or
He could be a total bust.
Poor Justin Fields, man. Poor Justin Fields. This guy.
Yeah, but we got to really talk about Fields, though, dude. Like, again, like the Bears still haven't been able to trade him. And everyone, I think, and their mother knows at this point, if you've been following anything, like they've been trying to trade him. Polls basically said it at the combine, like, we want to do right by Justin. They don't want to just ship him off. But man, oh man, the market for him is nowhere near as robust as people thought it was going to be. Fans think it's going to be. And why is it not? Because these GMs across the league, they want first and foremost a guy who is consistently reliable in operating the pocket. And second, a guy who can go off script. Fields is a great off script quarterback. One of the best. The problem is that first box that I mentioned, consistently able to operate a pocket. He has not demonstrated he's able to do that. That's the first and foremost thing. And that is why the market is not there like people thought it was going to be for him. Like nut jobs were saying they were going to net a first round pick for Fields potentially. That ain't never going to happen.
No way.
Never going to happen, dude.
Maybe a second.
I mean, listen, it'd be hard for me. And as badly as I think that it would be a good move to trade him, I would have a tough time accepting trading him for anything less than a second. I think at minimum, you got to get a second. But, you hear rumors about Atlanta. You hear rumors about Pittsburgh. You heard rumors about the Vegas Raiders, maybe. I think it's going to happen. It's a matter of time, but that market is not what people thought it was going to be. It's just not.
Someone will get a steal there. This guy's going to work out. I
love him, man. And
you've been singing his praises,
dude. Yeah, he has.
I firmly believe in him.
I'm as big a fan.
Have you not watched him throw the ball, Ticket?
Bro, I just think that there's something there, dude. The offensive line sucks, Joe. The guy's, he doesn't have a lot of time
I
to
understand,
make
but
decisions.
Mikey,
you can't use that excuse every year,
he misses open throws. He misses open throws.
This
He
guy
the
was
ball.
tossed into a horrible position.
2022. Yes. 2022-23 season, not this past season, the season before. Bears offensive line in pass pro ranked 14 or 15 in the entire league, middle of the pack in pass pro. The teams under them, you had teams like the Bengals, the Chargers, playoff teams, the Dolphins, and you watch those quarterbacks and what they do with worse offensive lines in pass pro, Tua, Burrow, Herbert, they make it work. Even with a bad offensive line in pass pro, they still make it work. Fields' problem has been the problem since he was at Ohio State Tech. He holds the ball forever. He looks for the hero ball, and it's tough to break the mentality. And the Bears certainly did him no favors. They did him no favors.
None.
With the coordinator and the line and the talent they surround. So I'm not disagreeing with that, but I just don't know if all of a sudden he's going to go somewhere and his processing is going to speed up so much more and he's going to get rid of that football so much quicker. I'm rooting for him. I hope wherever he goes, as long as it's not an NFC North team, that he does extremely well. And I'm rooting for him, but I would be so shocked if all of a sudden he went somewhere and we see a totally different guy operating in the pocket. I would be very surprised.
Well, he needs a good coach
that
for
you always
sure.
root for him. Yeah,
I love him.
He does.
I'm just making a call. I'm making a long-term call here. This guy's gonna be a steal for whoever trades that second round pick.
Tickets like a stew. If you give it long enough, his takes they start to really come together.
I'll tell you this.
Sometimes,
I tell you this, you're going to get as motivated as a guy as you'll ever get. He's going to be like chip on his shoulder, massive chip on his shoulder, something to prove. So you're going to get a motivated guy. There's no off the field issues. His teammates love him. He's a hard worker. Not the most emotional guy, which some people say is a good thing. Me personally, I kind of like the quarterbacks that get a little bit over the top emotional in games, like a Rodgers, a Brady, a Manning, like those guys always getting like really fired up. Josh Allen, I like that. I like seeing a little bit of, outward emotion
too. I mean, you gotta have that.
Mahomes is, Mahomes is like a murdering competitor. He's like one of those guys. And I'm not saying that Fields isn't. It just hasn't worked. Unfortunately, hasn't worked. I wish it had. I wanted it to badly.
There were moments. He had moments. He just never had.
He had moments.
Complete.
He definitely
games.
did. He definitely did.
All right, moving on here. Let's go to Mike Evans. Resigns with Tampa Bay. Are we shocked about that? How do we feel?
No, good move for Tampa. He's a timeless wideout. He's got a Hall of Fame resume. Honestly, he's built a pretty much a Hall of Fame resume, 1,000-yard receiver almost every year. He's automatic. I mean, the guy is as good as it gets. As good as it gets. A pro's pro. I think it's a smart move by Tampa. Whoever's going to play quarterback there, it's a smart move. You can't just let a guy like that walk out the door. He's meant so much to that organization. He's been a great teammate for that organization, been a great player, no issues that I could ever remember with him. And that's a big body target. He just makes a quarterback's life so easy because of how big he is.
You just throw it up, he gets it.
Yeah, aside from the fact that he's a great wideout, just how easy he makes a quarterback's life. Like Joe just said, Joe hit the nail on the head. You just throw the ball there, and his catch radius, and he just always seems to come down with the ball.
He hasn't lost a step either, too. I mean,
he hasn't.
No, not really.
He's receiving 1,000+ yards every single year, and he's good for 5 to 10 touchdowns. I mean, he's just awesome.
Easily, yeah.
I'd say he's a top 20 receiver in the league, and he has been for a long time.
Maybe 10.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about 10.
Yeah, I think he's top
Close.
15-ish, I would say.
Yeah.
I'd say definitely top 20 in the league. There's no question about it. And
with a bullet.
Godwin has really taken a step back from where he was before. So they've relied on Evans a lot more in the last year or so. So I agree with Mikey. Great move. You have a guy like Baker who can put together some good games, but he's not going to go out there and make the plays. You need to have guys who are out there who are elite that you can throw the ball to. And I think that he's definitely, I think if they didn't re-sign him, if they didn't throw the bag at him, any team would have been thrilled to have him come on their team and join. As a Packers fan, I would have fucking welcomed him with open arms to come onto our receiving core. I mean, that guy is a game changer.
Yeah, I think it's a great move for Tampa. I think it's a bad move for him. It's go get your money, I guess. I mean, get what you can, but I feel like he's made a ton of money, and I would think at this point he would be ready to go to a place where he thinks he can win with a good quarterback and show off what he can do even more than Baker. I know Baker was serviceable this year. He actually at times even looked pretty good. But again, like we said earlier in the show, he's just a guy who's never going to get you there. So I thought maybe he would make a move for himself, but listen, he got the bag,
I mean,
certainly deserves
yeah,
it.
he did.
26 million a year. I
deserves
mean,
it.
50,
geez.
yeah,
certainly
52
deserves it.
million. That's I mean, that's as good as he's gonna get at this age. That's
I mean,
that's
that's a lot.
really
I mean,
good.
at this point of his career, and it's
Yeah,
2 years,
for
so
sure.
he could go somewhere else
sure.
after.
Yeah, I thought he was
Yeah.
ready to. I thought he had made enough money that maybe he would want to go somewhere where he could win, but get the money
You
while you
might
can.
see him pull. You might see him pull like a Julio Jones once he's done his contract, go to a contending team, and he's just like almost a decoy kind of
ring
player.
chasing.
Yeah,
ring chasing.
I mean,
he's
he's
got
won
the
a
ring.
Super
He's
Bowl.
got the ring already. Yeah, I mean,
He
listen, he
does.
wants it. He's probably so settled, comfortable where he is there. The taxes are great in Florida. Everybody knows. Like, why the fuck? Yeah, I mean, there's certainly
Welcome to
two
Florida,
guys,
Tick.
two gentlemen in here certainly know. But I mean, like, why would you uproot at that point? Not that he's in the twilight of his career, but he's certainly not, on the ascending prime of his career. He still plays like he is sometimes, but I don't know, just the comfortability. I'm sure 52 million don't hurt, and he could stay put. He doesn't have to uproot the family, and he's just chilling and laughing all the way to the bank, still playing football.
Sure. All right, let's move on here. Several guys got tagged: Brian Burns, Jalen Johnson, Michael Pittman. Good moves for the organization. Good moves. Do we like this? Mikey, Joe, how do we feel?
Franchise tagging is kind of just like, it's the anticlimactic killer of free agency, because of the people that get tagged, only 38% of them get extensions from the team that they get tagged by. That's the statistic, is only 38% of the people that actually get franchise tagged get long-term extensions from the team that tags them. So to me, it kind of takes away from the free agent frenzy where all these guys, imagine if like Josh Allen, the pass rusher, hit the open market, what he would demand, what he would command. Imagine if T. Higgins hit the open market, if Jalen Johnson hit the open market. You're talking about, in those guys alone, and Michael Pittman, top 20, top 15, top 10 guys at their respective positions in the entire league. Like, it just would be so much more fun for fans and to watch, like, where they would end up, what would happen. But these teams, these organizations, they want to protect their best asset. And until the players strike against the franchise tag and demand that it gets taken out of contracts, that's what teams are going to do. You're never going to let a guy like T. Higgins just walk out the door. If you could say, nope, hold on a second, pal, tagging you, paying you a lot of money. They got to pay him a lot of money. But still, you'd rather do that than losing a guy like a Jalen Johnson or losing a Josh Allen. You're going to do that every day of the week. Yeah, I mean, the Colts have to tag Michael Pittman. They have to. Now the Giants, they decided not to tag McKinney, the safety, who was an outstanding player last year for them. They decided not to tag Saquon. So some teams don't do it, but these teams that are, in contention, like the Bengals, they're never going to let a guy like T. Higgins. The Jaguars, who are a young ascending team, are supposed to be, at least, they're not going to let a premier pass rusher that they just used. What pick was Josh Allen? Wasn't he number 1 or number 2? He was like a top 3 pick,
he
Josh
was.
Allen. He may have been 1 off the board.
He might have been 1, I think. I mean, maybe 2. I think maybe 2.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just no way that you're going to let somebody like that just waltz out when you don't have to. As fucked up as it is, and I think it is to a point, because it just takes away from free agency. Like, these guys aren't really, when people say they're coming up on a free agent year, I'm always like, yeah, if he's really that great, he'll just get tagged. That's just the way it works.
Yeah. Anything to add,
I
Joe?
agree 100%. No, I think you hit the nail on the head. Mikey, I wonder, do you think that there should be a limit to, like, obviously you can only, what is it, franchise tag one guy? Is it 1 or 2?
Yeah,
players?
One, right?
One tag. Yeah.
Do you think that they should change that at all? Or do you think that like, with the free market, like the free agency market, like, be so much more exciting and entertaining?
It would be a million times more exciting, but the ownership and the general managers are never going to want to give that up. The players may want to give it up because the players know.
Well, they lose out on a lot of money.
They lose out,
by
and
fucking-
they know that, and then you always hear, well, he's not going to play under the franchise tag. But how many times does the guy actually not play under the tag? I've never seen it because they get whacked in the pockets so bad. So that's what I'm saying. Until the players strike or they go on, a strike, or they get their contract negotiation to eliminate it, it's never going to go anywhere because it's too good of a tool for management. That being said, the tagging that they could do the full franchise tag, they could do the transition tag, they could do, the tag that Ryan Poles just put on Jalen Johnson. It's something like a team has the ability to match the tag number for Jalen Johnson. But if they do, and the Bears don't want to take him, that team then has to give 2 first-round picks in exchange for Johnson.
My God.
So nobody's, and Poles
No
knows
one's
that.
gonna do
No one's
that.
going to do that. As good as Jalen Johnson is, nobody's going to do that.
So for the franchise tag, don't they take the average salary of the top 10 guys at that position?
That's correct. Top 5 or top 10. Yep.
Top 5 or top 10?
Or top 15, something like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And
it's
then they
still
get the
decent
average
money,
number.
but they get fucking whacked.
Oh, it's a lofty number for 1 year. It's a big number for 1 year, but the players want, obviously, just like anybody in any profession.
want more.
Nobody
Security.
wants to work nobody wants to work year to year. People
Well,
want
imagine too, if you're a
long-term
running
deal.
back like Saquon, obviously you need to get franchise tag this year, but your shelf life as a running back is very limited. So you want to make sure.
Now, that being said, free agents as we are at the Sportsman podcast, we would gladly take a 1-year deal at a very reasonable price. We are not looking for long-term security. We're looking for the here and now. We're ready to party now.
And I
baby.
tell you
So,
what, we will play under the tag, and we'll play.
Sure we
we'll,
will.
we'll play hard. We'll play our hardest.
We will. We will.
Days off for the
Some would
tag.
say we never play harder.
That's right.
That's right.
All right, moving on. We got a few more guys left. Just 2 more. Jamal Adams cut. Saw it coming. How do you feel about it? I mean, he feels like he's been hurt for a couple of years.
He's fallen off a fucking cliff, man. This guy.
Yeah.
He's fallen off.
Not
a
a
cliff.
surprise on him, but a very big surprise for Quandre Diggs that the Seahawks are not re-signing Quandre Diggs, who was like, I don't want to say he was, but I'm pretty certain he was an all-pro at one point. He was an all-pro, and not long ago.
Like
Quandre
a year
Diggs.
ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, he's 31 now, so 31 is definitely getting up there for a safety. But I mean, you dump both your safeties. I thought Diggs was tremendous. I think that Jamal Adams, listen, blitz boy, right? I mean, that was his nickname. Only thing he was good for was coming downhill on a blitz, box safety. Had 0 ball skills, like less than 0 ball skills. Couldn't catch a ball if it was a beach ball with Velcro and he had Velcro gloves on. But
He was
So that doesn't-
sensational
that
with the
doesn't
Jets.
surprise
So
me
he
at
was
all.
awesome.
He
when
was
he broke into the
incredible with the
league, he was when he broke into the league, and then but the Jets
He really
was still
lost
something.
a step and was injured back and forth. But
Yeah.
the thing I don't like about him is he still had the attitude and the
Huge,
cockiness.
he
He was still like
thought he
one
was
of the
like
top
Ed
2
Reed,
players.
dude. Thought he was like
Yeah,
Troy
it was
Polamalu. He
ridiculous.
never was.
A
at
lot
that
of these
level, ever.
safeties do that. That's part of the safety position.
That don't make it right, Tick. That don't
true.
make it right.
That's true. That's
That
100%
don't
right.
make it right.
That's
Tick.
right.
All I'm saying is if you're gonna have that,
Safeties are big shit talkers. That's a
They
very
are.
good point, though. They're
They are.
big chatterboxes. Safeties.
if you're gonna have that shit talking mentality and like act like you're, if you're Jalen Ramsey for sure, like you're gonna back it up, then that's fine. But like the last couple of years, Jamal Adams was getting torched when he was out there on the fucking field.
Yeah,
Well-
I just safety may be my favorite position in football.
Oh,
I
yeah,
for
it's
whatever
great.
reason, I have an affinity for safeties, man. I love the position. I think, it's not valued as much at all in today's NFL, like corner, it's not even close, but I still love having a good safety duo.
It's one
I
of the
just
most
love it.
fun
When you have
positions to play, too.
When you have a great free safety, and the Bears had one for a couple of years, Eddie Jackson, I mean, he was one of the most fun guys. This guy would be a pick six every other game. This guy would have a pick six every other game.
I remember when we had Charles Woodson, man, it was
That's it,
awesome.
bro. It's just so much fun to watch.
Or even
It's just
Ha Clinton
fun.
Dix when they had him.
Clinton Dix was
Yeah,
the man.
yeah.
He was awesome. You guys picked him.
He
That was
fell
one
off
pick.
the cliff real quick.
Yeah, he
though.
did. Yeah.
He came.
Yeah, but he
came
was
over
good
to-
with us
he-
for many
He
years.
came over to the Bears and he was washed. He was washed up. But I mean, like you talk about like watching like Palomalu, or you talk about watching Ed Reed or Sean Taylor, or now
Brian
this kid from San
Dawkins.
Francisco, Brian Dawkins. This kid, how about Johnny
Rondé
Lynch,
Barber.
Rondé Barber.
Sure.
But well, Rondé was a corner.
Was he a corner or a safety?
Yeah,
John
he was a
Lynch
corner.
was the safety.
John
that's
Lynch
right.
is the safety.
He was a hell of a safety too.
This kid from San Francisco, man, could be. I hope that injury didn't set him back. This kid Hufanga, he really could. He is like the next Palomalu. I think this kid.
Wow.
He is something special out of San Francisco. Really good player.
Oh, Kyle
Really good
Hamilton too. He's a lot of fun. He's young. He's good.
Kyle
to watch.
Hamilton is a stud. He's awesome. Yeah.
He's the
That's
man.
what I mean. It just safety's a great position. Just fun. Just
If
fun
you want to
position.
have some fun, go on YouTube and look up Weapon X highlights, and it's Brian Dawkins
yeah, Dawkins.
lighting
Oh,
people
man.
up. It's the most fun you can have for 20
Ronnie
minutes.
Lott, Steve Atwater. You want to
Sure.
go back in the
But
day,
that
I mean,
generation of football was more fun because they let them play more. Now
Gary
everything's
Fensick.
the league was more open for big hits and big tackles. back
Yeah,
then.
they've kind of
You know, it was a great safety who he just got hurt because he just played like such a psycho. Indianapolis Colts, Bobby Sanders.
sure.
Oh,
yeah,
Remember
yeah,
Bob Sanders tick?
Yeah,
The dog, bro. He was a dog.
yeah, he was. All right, let's
Love
move on
Bobby
here
Sanders.
to the main event. The last guy we're going to talk about, Jason Kelce officially retires. And if you want a good cry, go watch the full 40-minute thing.
I called Ticket 2 days ago. I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You caught me at a bad time." I'm like, what do you mean? He sounded like he was all choked up. He's like, "Just watching the Kelce retirement right now." I'm like, bro, I thought he already retired. And like, apparently it was like well known, but he hadn't given his retirement speech. But I saw a little clip of Travis in the front row, like getting emotional as well. I mean, I like Jason. Everything he comes straight from the heart, man. He's a straight shooter. The guy gave everything he had to the game and to the Eagles. And like, I mean, as an Eagles fan, you gotta tip your cap and say, hey, you know what? This guy was the great one.
Yeah,
Listen,
Jason Kelce is one of the best to ever do it. I mean, he's one of the best to ever do it. Super Bowl winner. His speech was great. He's definitely insane. I mean, the guy's nuts. I mean, he just jumped onto a flaming table the other day. Ticket, did you see that?
I saw that.
Like, what is he doing?
I don't know.
I mean, just wild. By the way, I mean, he could have done a little bit. He should have like talked to the Dudley boys or something like that. He's from Philly. He could have went right down to the ECW arena and got some, handy advice from Paul Heyman or something about how to jump on a flaming table. I digress.
Paul Heyman.
But no, Kelce, man, he'll go down in the annals, especially for Philly. I mean, they do not win. I don't think they win that Super Bowl if he's not on that team. And people will say, "Oh, how could that be? He's only an offensive." No, dude. Like when you play center and you play it at the level that he played, that's like your second quarterback. I mean, that's the number 2 quarterback, really, not the backup. It's the center. And that guy is responsible for so much every single play. And I just love the way that he talks about, carried himself, and promotes the game. I just think he does it the right way in every sense of the word, and he'll be dearly missed by the league and certainly by Eagles fans, I'm sure. Tick, that's a tough one. That's a jersey you should get. I'm not a big
Tick,
I'm not a big jersey guy anymore because the guys are so they come to and fro so often, and they're gone the next day. Especially for the Bears, I really don't invest unless it's like a Legends player. But Kelce's definitely a jersey I would probably get if I was an Eagles fan, man. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm not a big jersey
Maybe
guy. I mean,
Kelly Green, maybe the Kelly Green.
I had the Dawkins when I was in high school, and then the only other jersey I bought was I had Russell Wilson's Seahawks jersey from his rookie year because the year that he was in
what?
Why?
What?
Well, I can't really say that. I have a Brian Bosworth Seahawks.
There
jersey,
you go.
so
See?
I can't really. Sometimes you just got random jerseys.
The year
man.
before he was drafted, when he was at Wisconsin, ESPN ran a thing called the Year of the Quarterback, and it focused on 4 quarterbacks, and he was one of them at Wisconsin. And watching him that year and getting to know him, and like I just fell in love with the guy. I loved early Russell Wilson, and I was like, I gotta get this guy's fucking jersey. First day I have the jersey, I'm eating a hot dog, I spill mustard all over it. Shirt, it was pretty much fucking ruined.
That was a bad omen right there. That was a bad omen.
Yeah, it was. And I haven't bought a jersey since, but I think to your point that I think you're right. That should be one that I get.
I think a Kelce jersey.
I only had one Packer jersey ever was a Brett Favre Jets jersey that I had.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, when he went, I mean, I was all in, and then he went to the Vikings, and I said, "Fuck this guy." I hated him. But there was one jersey that I picked up a guy off of the waiver wire one year, and he single-handedly changed the course of my fucking fantasy football team that year. And he played in the AFC, and he was a running back, and I just fucking loved. I would watch Cleveland Browns games to watch Peyton Hillis every single week for about a 7 week
He had 1 year.
Went
man,
on Madden, and then he went on the cover of Madden, and he fell off a fucking.
Yeah,
but he was destroying teams.
People thought he was
this
like
guy is the fucking man.
They thought he was like the next Mike Allstott, and
he was like a fullback as a tailback, and he would just fucking bulldoze guys.
Yeah, he was a big boy. He was a big boy.
Oh, he was awesome. I wanted to get that jersey. It was the closest non-affiliated team jersey. Peyton Hillis Browns jersey. I wanted to buy
pretty
one.
good. It's pretty good. Peyton
You bought a jersey based on a guy that helped your fantasy team.
I didn't. I wanted to. He took me to the top, man. He was sensational. He was like 1 to 2 touchdowns a week, man. Just bruising guys.
You talk about a guy who the fuck even knows where he is now. You're talking about Peyton Hillis, dude.
Yeah, that's right. The last fullback to play the game.
Guy just dropped off the face of the earth.
Hey, you know what? People would kill to have that one shining moment.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like Kelly Clarkson says, a moment like this. Some people wait a lifetime for a moment like this. Some people search forever for that one special kiss. I can't believe it's happening to me. Some people wait a lifetime. Mikey
What
just
song
zones
is that
me.
even?
You're a
That's
sick
Kelly
person.
Clarkson, man.
Yeah, I know it.
Are you a big fan?
A moment like this. That's what you won.
Apparently
American
he
Idol.
is. Apparently he is.
Wow. Okay. Joe, when Brett Favre went to the Jets, did you cry? Did you shed a tear?
I was furious.
You were angry.
I was so anti Aaron Rodgers. I immediately bought a Brett Favre jersey, and that year I actually went to the Meadowlands with my uncle, and I went to a Jets Rams game, and they blew the doors off of them. I think
Jets Rams.
who was the Curtis Martin had like 3 touchdowns.
Curtis Martin, Curtis Martin.
And they fucking
Jet.
obliterated
Great
them.
Jet.
Steven Jackson was playing for the Rams back. It
Oh,
was the
yeah,
St.
Steven
Louis
Jackson.
Rams, and they were like one of the worst teams in the league. I think the Jets won by like 30.
Was the quarterback Mark Bulger? Who was the quarterback there?
I couldn't tell you. It definitely wasn't Kurt Warner, that's for sure.
Yeah, it might have been
Yeah.
Bulger. Was it Sammy Bradford? No, it couldn't have been.
Oh, could have been Bradford.
It could have been.
Bradford.
It could have been
Bulger
Bradford.
might have been before. All right, guys. That's most of the NFL talk as far as cuts, tagging, cuts, said that twice, and retirements is what I meant to say. But let's stick with the NFL a little bit, but let's shift gears here. Peyton Manning trying to recruit Bill Belichick and possibly Nick Saban to do a Manning cast type deal for NFL football games. Do you like it? Would you even be interested? Would you listen? I mean, I find Bill Belichick to be a little insufferable, but a lot of people like
Can I
it.
tell you something, Tick?
Sure.
The Manning cast sucks.
Whoa.
I don't
disagree.
Wow.
Now, Mikey, I will see this. Neil and I, Ticket and I we share a deep passion and love for Peyton Manning. I think he's one of the funniest, one of just the most talented.
Eli. I think Eli's hysterical.
Yeah, not to the same extent as Peyton, but
yeah,
yes.
I disagree. I think he's drier. I think he's actually funnier than Peyton because he doesn't.
It's harder to get drier than fucking Peyton, dude. That's like getting drier than sulfur.
Yeah.
Like that's dry, dude. I will say this, that I do really like Peyton. When I'm watching the game, I'm not trying to have a couple guys have a conversation with each other throughout the play. Like I want to focus on the game, and I think it's distracting. I think it takes away from the game script, the way that they do it. I think if they did like a talk show or a radio show, I would be all in on it. But like when the game is on, I'm dialed in, I'm watching the game. So it don't matter. I don't think I've ever watched a full manage has from start to finish. So it don't matter. They bring Belichick. They could bring Vince Lombardi out from the dead and put him on the show. I probably wouldn't watch it. When the game is on, Mikey, I want to watch the game.
No, I hear
I don't
you.
want to hear a conversation.
No, I hear you. I have the same issue. Like, yeah, I think it's entertaining, and I probably would try and listen if I didn't have any investment in the game.
We always have investment.
It's a very rare occurrence, right? So, yeah, I can't. I don't know if I could get behind it. I mean, he's basically collecting the Infinity Stones of fucking, football personalities. If you're going to bring Belichick and Saban in there, but it's something that they could do. I'm sure. I guess.
I think it'll be insufferable if they pull that off. I can't imagine listening. I can't listen to a guy who I think is funny through a whole game. You think I'm going to listen to those two? I mean, I'm sure the insights would be good. I would be way more interested to hear Bill, or especially actually Nick, in a booth with commentators actually calling.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
by the way,
something...
the fact that Bill Belichick didn't get hired by anybody, to me, is shocking.
What do you think he's holding off for? Like, do you think that was out of his control, or do you think...
I don't know. I don't know if he got made offers and he just wasn't thrilled with the position or the team that was making. I really don't know. You would think that he would be able to score, at the very least, a defensive coordinator position. I mean, he should be a head coach anywhere he goes. He's arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time, if not the greatest coach of all time.
No, he might be doing what, what's his name? The old Patriots linebacker just coached Tennessee. What the fuck's his name?
Vrabel.
He might be doing what Vrabel's doing and just taking a year off, letting the dust settle, watching where the pieces fall. I mean, he could be. I don't know. I can't fathom no one wanting to hire him. I mean, it was a disaster in New England the last couple of years, no doubt about it, but he's Bill Belichick.
The fall from grace is a very deep and troublesome fall. I mean, it's hard.
Humbling.
Once you're at that precipice, you're at the top of Mount Everest. Anything else after that just doesn't seem, it just seems average, especially when you're one of the worst teams in the league. That's even worse. So I'm not surprised.
And you got to deal
the Patriots
with
did what they had
Mac
to do.
Jones
They
every
moved
day.
on. Oh God, that's tough.
That guy's got to be the worst starting quarterback out there.
Zappy wasn't much better.
Oh, Zappy, Bailey
Fucking
Zappy. Listen,
Zappy
Western Kentucky.
Mikey's got a special place in his heart for
Western
Bailey
Kentucky.
Zappy.
You want to bet? You want to have fun betting and over? You bet the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. That's all. Bailey Zappy could put up numbers, Joe. Guy threw
The
for
Hilltoppers,
8,000 yards. In
the Hilltoppers this year were throwing fucking shit.
That's what they do. They
Touchdowns.
score like 50 a game. Wild. They're like the Texas Tech of whatever division that is. Sky Mountain. I don't know what the fuck it is. Sky. I don't know. Great conference.
All right, guys, let's move on here. Mikey, we missed you last week. We were talking a little college basketball before we get into March Madness. So I just kind of want to pick your brain a little bit about who you like, who you think can make a push, who's maybe a little overrated, all those things. And then we'll get an update from Joey D, see if he still feels the same way he felt last week as well. But Mikey, why don't you let us know how you feel about March Madness approaching?
Well, March Madness is approaching. I think there's some teams that are, certainly upper echelon teams. But, you got a team like Alabama that could score in bunches, but they just don't play any defense whatsoever. You got teams like Duke who could play defense and play really good offense. That's a team that I would keep my eye on. Duke really, to me, is a really complete team, a really good team. Houston.
they just lost to Wake Forest.
No, they did lose to Wake Forest, but then, they just came back and who did they just beat? And they beat them on the road, and it was pretty impressive. They were a 6-point favorite, I believe, and they won. It was the other night. Who did they play? I had the money line. I gave it out. And they covered the 6 too, and I was afraid they weren't gonna. And they covered the 6, and it was an ACC team. And NC State, who just gave North Carolina a headache at North Carolina. So, no, I think that Duke really could be a problem. I think Duke could really be a problem. So they may be a team I'm looking at. North Carolina, certainly, I think, is another team that's a team to keep an eye on. I think the defending champ, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I said.
They're tough. They're tough. They're going to be very tough. So, those are kind of where I'm at now. But we will see. It's gonna be interesting for sure.
The boys are gonna be having a good time at the
on the
Breezy Lounge.
22nd for
Yeah.
sure. For
Oh wow, it's gonna be.
And we just got an underwin. So I'm sorry if I was a little distracted, but we needed that win and we got it.
What was
Houston, UCF under 131 points, which is an insane under to take.
These
But
are some high unders. Holy
no, it's extremely low 131, Joe. That's
no,
insane.
I'm saying that's like
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that's not an easy under to hit.
No. So Tick, I think Duke. I hate to be a Duke guy because I want North Carolina. I really do. I like Armando Bacot. I like North Carolina, but I just like Duke going on the road against NC State and doing that after NC State had lost a heartbreaker, pretty much a close game to North Carolina on the road themselves. Like Duke covering on the road like that, when a team covers on the road like that this late in the season, and they're as good as they are defensively and offensively, like they're a scary team. Like, they just, it's interesting this year, like Arizona, I'm not a believer in Arizona. Like I
like Houston. I like Houston.
I like Houston too.
Wow.
The only thing about Houston is can they score when they have to score? I just don't know. They're like the anti-Alabama, right? Like Bama could fucking score 100 points, but they're going to give up 120. Houston could hold you to 45, 50, 60 points, but are they going to score enough? Now, tonight they did against UCF, so it's a good road win for them. But, I don't know if they're complete enough both sides. I think the most complete team is Duke. I really do. UConn, of course.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think Duke is going to be tough, man. I really do. I think they're going to be tough.
You think Duke's a more complete team than a UConn or a Houston?
UConn, I'm going to give then Houston, yeah, because I think they play better offense, and I think they could listen. You don't have to be the number one defensive team in the country to win the tournament. Houston is the number one defensive team, but you don't have to be. I think you just got to be good enough, and I think Duke is certainly good enough, but they could also score. Now, UConn ticket, I'm going to say UConn's better because I'm going to give the respect to them as the reigning champion. I'll give them the respect. They're a tough team. They're physical. They're big. And they're going to be another team that's really tough. I think this tournament's going to be great. I think it's going to be really good. I thought last year was pretty good. There were some interesting storylines. Kansas State was a team that I was in love with last year.
They played amazing.
The
Creighton was another team who went right up almost to the final four.
Creighton's another team that could beat anybody because if they're shooting the three ball well, nobody's going to beat them. Well, not nobody, but they're going to be very hard to beat if they're on from the 3-point arc. So Creighton's another team that's going to be interesting. But March 22nd, that Breezy Lounge, that's going to be
it's going to be
a lot of action that night. Yeah. Yep.
Joey D, still feeling the same way you did last week? Any changes? Anyone you like more?
No, I mean, I said the same thing. I said UConn deserves, I did say to you, Ticket, last week that, it's really hard for any team with the tournament and the amount of teams playing and the upsets of the parity in college basketball to repeat. It's very difficult. But to me, UConn, they're just very well coached. They won last year. I feel like they have a very complete team this year. But yeah, I like Houston. I said that before. I said Arizona's a team that, can get hot. They got one of the best guards in the country. And they got a really good center. What's his name? That guy's he's massive.
UConn center?
No, Arizona. Arizona's got
center. See, I really haven't been like West Coast ball this year has just not been it, dog. Like
UCLA, there's a lot of teams like UCLA,
not good.
USC
stinks. USC stinks.
And UCLA is one of the teams I always like to root for, man. You're a big UCLA guy. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, Ticket loves UCLA.
I love me some UCLA ball. But ever since they lost, what's his name? Jaquez, was that his name? The team has just been imploded. I mean, they're not good, and it's a disgrace because that is one of the most storied programs in college basketball history, if not the most storied program in college basketball history. And they just don't give a shit over there right now. They need some new athletic director, maybe a new coach. They need to switch some shit up because it's clearly not a priority when it should be. Because the West Coast is such a they compete in football sometimes. There's some good teams that come out, but it's largely made fun of compared to the South. the Northeast. But basketball is where the West Coast can shine. And it's just, I don't know. They're letting everyone down these last couple of years. So I
That's
hope
how
that
I feel.
changes.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even
that's
up
exactly
to
how I
not a couple of years ago, UCLA was awesome, Tick. They were
They
right
were.
up there.
They were. Yeah, they were good.
And
I mean, they made the Final
Arizona's
Four.
always a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Always.
Arizona's always great. Yeah, Arizona's always great.
They're great.
Arizona's always a powerhouse.
Yeah.
But it just depends,
Give
It
me
just depends who gets hot at the right time.
It's true. How about both of you guys give me one team outside of the top 10 that you think has a real shot to fight for this championship?
It's a great question.
Outside of the top 10. How about, I'm going to have to look because most of the teams that I follow are.
I mean, you got your Kentuckys, you got Kansas.
Yeah, no, those are Kentucky's 15.
Kansas is in the top 10. Oh, no, the
other team.
No.
14. You know who I like a lot, dude, and this is going to be weird. I like Florida. I don't know why I like Florida, but I like Florida, and I also like Illinois. I think Illinois could be
Illinois is very good.
Be a pesky team. Let me tell you something. How about the team that's been the best team against the spread the entire season in the NCAA, the Minnesota Golden Gophers? They're a pesky group. They are. Now, can they win it all? I don't know, man. It's such a crapshoot. It's so hard. But like, I definitely, think that maybe a team like that, again, Florida, Illinois, Minnesota, St. Mary's is a fucking weird team.
St. Mary's is very weird.
St. Mary's
Gonzaga.
is a weird team. Gonzaga, yeah. I mean, I don't know about Gonzaga, but anyway, just outside the top.
Give me Kansas.
Just outside the top 10. How about the Baylor Bears? Baylor Bears at 11. They've been very tough of late. Very tough. They're good.
They played really good.
They beat Texas. I mean,
they were losing to Texas the whole game,
and they covered.
Came back and won some, and they covered.
Didn't even win. They covered
by
a 6.5 point spread.
They won by 8.
Yeah. Yep.
I would say
Crazy.
Kansas. They're well coached. They got some good pieces. But I don't know, man. It's really tough. You just got to find a team that's on a hot streak, like St. Peter's. That St. Peter's run.
Oh my God, how insane
that was unbelievable. I mean, being in New Jersey, that must have been.
Oh
nuts.
my uncle's an alum of St. Peter's. He went there, and he was getting us tickets to the Sweet 16. He went to the Elite 8.
Wow.
We had the Peacock. He got me Peacock gear. I was wearing like Peacock polos. I was wearing them. Here's the storyline that I'm most interested in the NCAA tournament. Maybe one of them, certainly. The Purdue Boilermakers with this Zach Edey, who's been at this school as long as I've been. He's been at that school.
Ginormous.
I mean, it feels like Zach Edey's been there for 20 years. But they always get ousted, and they always get ousted early. Is this the year that Purdue finally makes a run to the Final Four, makes the national championship game? All the hype around that guy, I just feel like every time I watch him, and a lot of times when I bet on him, I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's just not there. It doesn't click, whatever it is. He gets in foul trouble. He just not making shots 5 feet around the rim for whatever reason. I know he's been tremendous, but at his size and in college.
Every time I bet against him, the guy fucking looks outrageously good, man.
So I'm very curious, Tick, to see how Purdue finally comes out of this tournament.
Sure.
Because I feel like they've had so many letdowns the last couple of years. This year they finally break through, and if not, man, what a historically epic bad run for a team with the best player in the country all these years, consensus best player. I mean, I don't know if he's my favorite player in the country, but certainly you can't argue his dominance statistically. So I think that's going to be something to be really, really keeping an eye on to see what is Purdue actually going to do this year. Are they going to flop?
Illinois is another team ticket that I would say, Mikey mentioned them. They're a solid team for being outside the top 10.
They're a very good team.
They are very, very good. They got that one shooter who's just the guard who's unbelievable. What's his fucking name? Terrence. The hell's his name, man?
They love the 3-ball, dude.
Could drive me nuts.
You'll find that name.
Terrence Shannon Jr. I knew it was Terrence. I couldn't remember the last name. I gotta get better, by the way. Somebody made a comment the other day, and they're right. I gotta get better with knowing actual players' names on the fucking and on NCAA basketball, man. Like
There's a lot of
watch.
players.
Well, the thing is, that's the thing is that I don't really have a team specifically. So I just go based on what I'm watching a lot of NCAA basketball.
You should pick
because
one. You should pick a team. I'd like to see you pick one.
I used to root for Wisconsin because my mom was, that was the university there that she grew up in Green Bay that they all went to. But I don't know. You're right. I should pick a team, but I think part of the thing is there's so many games and so many different things. I watch a lot of basketball, but I'm not dialed in like I am with NFL.
I could see you being a Notre Dame guy.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. Their basketball programs.
No, but their football. I mean,
not good.
It's tough to pick a school that's great at both.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you a team.
Yeah,
before we move on. Oh, go for it, Mikey. Go. Well, I'll finish up after that.
No, go, Tick. No.
Say
go,
BYU.
Go.
I like BYU.
Yeah, BYU. I was looking at BYU. Yep.
Yeah,
I like that.
They're so vanilla.
The Storm and Mormons.
But they're the exact kind of team.
That's what they are, though.
They're the Storm and Mormons.
Yeah.
Jimmer range.
You know who I do like? I like New Mexico.
Yeah.
New Mexico, the Lobos.
I want to hear why Ticket likes BYU. Go, Ticket. I want to hear
why.
No,
because I was just going to say, I think that vanilla style is exactly what can throw a team off when it comes to March. I think the way they play basketball is the exact kind of thing that is not going to be something that these teams prepare for. I'm
kind of like Princeton. Kind of like Princeton.
Sure.
Or
like
Iowa,
a Princeton.
Iowa.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, can they win it all? I don't know, but I could see them making some upsets, making a little bit of noise. I like them. The Storm and Mormons, but who else too is Washington State's around. I haven't watched too much of them, but a lot of people like them. A lot of people think there's a shot there. A lot of people, and they're representing the West Coast right now. They're one of the only teams.
I think we've successfully named every single team outside of the top 10. That hasn't helped.
Dayton?
That hasn't helped a single goddamn person. The Dayton Flyers.
Dayton?
How about Perez's Richmond Spiders?
The Richmond Spiders.
Richmond Spiders go
now,
Nids, baby.
if I had to lock in on one team, I would probably just give Baylor. I would think Baylor would be the team. I would say if it's one team I got to go with outside the top 10, and granted they're not far out of the top 10, but I would say Baylor. I think they're impressive.
And Joe, you're going with Kansas?
No,
Kansas is yours?
Illinois.
Okay.
You're going with Illinois? I like that.
I think what we should do is we should do a bracket and then we should compare at the
end.
That.
No,
sure.
And then you do like a sportsman bracket. It could be kind of fun.
That'd be fun.
Ticket, you could set it up.
Mr. Anderson can set it. Or you can set it up.
Ticket, you're a big bracket.
How hard is it to print 3 fucking brackets, Joe? You just print your own bracket and fill it out.
Well, no, I think we do it online. Ticket's done. He set that up before, so
I think we do. I think we all print them out and do our own, and then we just post it, and then you take a picture, and then we can follow it together. Then you bring it with you to the Breezy Lounge, March 27th.
Oh, that'd be. Should we do like a bracket each and do a little wager on it?
That would be fun.
Comes out on top, like a $25 a guy. Whoever comes first gets,
No, we'll do
we'll do a dinner or something.
$20.
How about this?
Most
guy
wins
who
per
wins
round.
Gets dinner bought for him from the other two.
That's fine.
Okay.
How long are you guys going to be in New York, by the way?
We're getting there on the
3 days.
21st, and we're going to be leaving on the 23rd.
It's quick.
So you're there Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Sunday we leave, yeah.
Right, okay.
Saturday's the only full day we're there. We fly in the day before, and we leave.
We were thinking about getting there on the
thing
Saturday.
Is Friday, though.
Yeah, well, we're flying in early enough to make it there.
The breezy thing's on the 22nd.
Yes.
Which is the Friday, I believe.
Right. Oh, so you're coming in on Thursday.
Well, then we come in Thursday and we're leaving on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that Thursday night we do dinner or something.
Yeah. Well, the Thursday we were thinking that Thursday's the first day of the tournament, so we're probably going to get there around like 11:30, and then we can watch the games.
Yeah.
And then do something for dinner, and then 22nd we're locked in all day at the Breezy Lounge.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then we leave on Saturday.
That's right. All right, guys. Let's move on here to who's a problem. Joey D, I'm going to start with you this week. I'm
not even prepared for
Mikey V. I'm starting with you this week.
No problem at all. Problem at all.
Who's the problem?
My problem is and this is something that's been brought to my attention via social media, and it's an old story, but it's not an old story. It's the Super Bowl streaker. This guy, the Super Bowl streaker.
What's that?
Who, there's a story floating around online that this guy put 50 grand on a prop bet that there would be a streaker during the Super Bowl. Okay. And people are saying that he made a fortune because he outsmarted the whole system. I want to inform everybody that this guy's a problem and that that's a lie, because there is no bookie. Number one, corporate sites never offered the streaker prop. That was never offered on any corporate sites, the big ones, DraftKings, FanDuel, Bet360, whatever. There is no street bookie, number one, that's going to have that prop. And number two, if they do, are going to allow someone to bet $50,000 on it. And it's this story, and this guy is getting insane publicity off of a fake story. It's not a real story. It is anybody who knows anything about this kind of stuff knows that there's not a bookie alive that would ever take that action unless the bookie himself booked it with the guy and they're taking it from somebody else. So just a pathetic headline grabber. There's no way that the guy did it for that reason. He definitely did it for, just to get the clout off of it, which is fine, but don't make up a story that the guy bet 50 grand and he didn't fucking, that's nonsense. So he's a problem. The Super Bowl streaker is a problem. And I know it's kind of old, but it's kind of, that story only broke a couple weeks ago. So it's kind of new, the story.
Breaking news. Joey D.
I got mine.
You got it. You figured it out.
I got mine, and it's actually a good problem. Have you heard, Ticket, about this guy from the New York Rangers, Matt Rempe, who's literally fighting every single game? He's fighting, Mikey, the entire league, to the point where they're like, the fans
Rangers are good.
Saying, well, the Rangers are good. That's neither here nor there. But I'm saying this guy is like literally, I guess he's a cusp player. So like he doesn't want to go back down to like, to the AHL or whatever bottom league, East Coast Hockey League. That
they really like him, though. I think he's going to stick around. They like him a lot.
He is fighting every fucking game. And now people are like, there's a whole thing on it. I saw it the other day that Bizanet and Spit and Chicklets guys, Ryan Whitney was talking about it. And people are saying that he should not be fighting and stuff. Listen, the NHL has always been cool because they allow fighting in like as soon as you take that away, the league will never be the same. So it's in a category of its own. And if this guy wants to fight the whole league, I mean, he's put his body out there. Like it's unbelievable. Tick, have you seen how many fights this guy's getting into?
Yeah, the Rangers played the Flyers like 2 weeks ago, and it was Rempe's third game. And I think 2 minutes into the first period, threw the gloves down against, I forget who it was. It was like Lawton or somebody. I forget who he fought. But and they were throwing haymakers, and the refs were letting them go. Like they're letting them go like old school hockey fights. They didn't break it up. It was, to be honest, it was awesome. It was really cool. But this guy just sucks, man. He's trying to make a statement. He's trying to give them a reason to keep him around. But it's cool to see longer fights like that. I hope they keep letting him do that. But yeah, I see it.
I would say he's my problem, but he's a good problem. But he's not a problem.
I wouldn't say he's
It's a good problem.
No, it's a good problem.
That's hockey. That's what you come for.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what gives hockey the edge, man.
But
Hockey
there was a period of time in
toughest.
the last 15 years where they're not letting them go as long as they used to. They'll break it up.
The officials, they
Correct.
just jump in.
Right.
Yeah. Those poor linesmen, man, they got to dive in there.
The fourth line is the best line in hockey, man. They're the most fun to watch. All right, my problem this week is I got a big old problem with the National Rugby League. Not so much the league as I'm just being flooded with comments like DMs by people who want us to talk about it. And we might touch on it here and there. It's a National Rugby League. Like people really, the NRL, they really want us to like make that a big old segment on the show. And I appreciate the zest. But and I love every single one of you guys who listen to the show, but that's a problem and it's got to end. We're not gonna, unless some guy like fucking knocks someone on his ass to the point where he's almost gonna unless something crazy happens in that league, we're not gonna talk rugby. It's not on the docket. I mean, we'll talk indoor
tough.
lacrosse before we'll probably get to the NRL. Respect them. Tough guys. I guess they just
Sure,
played in Las
sure.
Vegas, and I don't know. I guess it was crazy. That's why people wanted us to talk about it. But enough is enough. Stop being a problem. All right, that's who's a problem this week. Let's move on to some viewer questions. First one comes from Jackson Christie. Which fictional movie universe would you want to live in and why?
Whoa, fictional movie universe and why? Oh,
Pretty good
man.
question.
That's a great question. I would say the Avatar world. I would like to live in there. The one where's
Wow.
that? What is that called again?
It's Avatar.
No. The world though is called.
Oh, what planet they were on? I don't
No,
remember.
yeah, fuck. I'll figure it out, but that's where I would want to go. Is the Avatar world?
That was pretty cool.
Was it Pandora? Was that what it was?
Yeah,
Pandora. Yes, that's
All right.
right. Pandora. Pandora would be my answer. It just seems very nice. Seems
I
tropical.
have no
you know.
idea. This
Yeah,
is such a
tropical.
out there question. I mean, it kind
It's a great question. Love this question.
Take
You don't
who's
have-
yours?
Now I
You
didn't have a
don't-
lot of time to think about it.
You don't have to pick something crazy like that. Like you can just pick any old movie. You could pick As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson. That's a movie.
No, he
But
said
that's not a
fantasy. Didn't
world,
he
a
say-
universe.
No, I
Don't
think
think
he
world.
means just the universe of of any movie. I think you could.
I thought he
I don't-
meant like
I
it
was
had to
gonna
be
say
a
like
wacky place.
the world that Superman lives on.
Kryptonite,
Right.
Krypton.
Krypton. That was
Yeah.
gonna be mine.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought that's what the question was.
I think he
Yeah.
just. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I thought he just meant every
Yeah, I
movie is
thought-
its own universe. Like it's
No, I thought
No,
he meant
I
like
think,
a wacky,
yeah.
like a wacky universe, which is why I said Pandora because
okay. Then I'll go with the Ewok world, whatever that's called.
Oh, that's a good-
Endor.
Endor.
The forest moon of Endor. Yeah, the forest moon of Endor. I could see you being king of the Ewoks.
Sure.
I could see you being king of the Ewoks.
Sure.
He
Yeah.
would be
That's a good
popular
one,
amongst the
Dick.
Ewoks.
I can be
Yeah,
their
it is.
guy.
Very good.
If they need someone, I can
Very
step
good.
in. All right,
Next,
good question
Joe
there,
go to
Jackson.
Dagobah system.
Sure.
Uh,
Joe would go to that lava planet from the third one, from the prequel, where the guy
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Or the
that's cool.
Hoth system, the frozen planet of Hoth.
I'd actually, you know where I'd go to fucking. I'll take my question back. I'd go to Hogwarts. I'd go to fucking the Wizard World.
That's a good one too, though.
That's a
good
great
too.
one.
Sure. Yeah, I like that.
Mikey, are you a big Star Wars? We had a whole Star Wars conversation last week based on a question. Are you? It sounds like you know a lot about Star Wars.
Love Star Wars. Love Star Wars, dog. Empire Strikes
question,
Back.
by the way,
Movie of all time.
the question,
Five
by the
all
way,
time.
shout out to the person who asked the question, was Star Wars or Star Trek? And I said I
Oh,
wasn't
get the
even close.
fuck out of here. There's one person on this earth I think that I know that thinks Star Trek's better than Star Wars, and God bless her, it's my mother, and I respect that. But Star Wars is Star
It's
Wars.
not even
is-
close. Yeah.
And listen, I got respect for Kirk and Spock and Data and those guys. Like I do. I do. I have respect for the Klingons, all that, but like you're comparing apples to oranges. Like George Lucas, I mean, Empire Strikes Back is legitimately a perfect movie. Like it's
I think
Yeah,
Return
no,
of the
it
Jedi
is.
is even
Perfect
better.
movie.
I think
Oh,
Return of the
that's
Jedi is even
wild.
better.
They're both great, but Empires, Undefeated.
Empire is like a perfect movie.
they're great. They're both great.
Perfect movie. I love all of them.
I'm shocked. Are you like a big sci-fi guy? I mean,
Look, I got the Mandalorian helmet and Baby
Yeah.
Grogu in the background.
Yeah.
oh, okay. All
Baby
right.
That's a
Yoda.
Lego. That's a Lego
Baby
set
Yoda.
Mandalorian helmet. I built that.
For Little Dom.
I have a Lego set. I built
Mm-hmm.
that for myself. Yeah, Dom, I guess could look at it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
when
got
you-
a Darth Vader one too. I haven't put it together yet. I got it for my
Wow.
birthday. I'm like a big kid. I'm like a big kid.
Yeah.
Really
This is what
big,
my
man.
wife gets me for my birthday. I mean, what are you getting? I mean, I have everything. I have children. I have a home. I have a roof over my head. Give me a Lego set. That's what I like.
Good for you, Mikey.
Did you like the new ones, Mikey?
So I really didn't.
Me too.
I really didn't like the new
love
ones.
them.
Now I will say this: Rogue One is a very good movie, but that's
That is
not
pretty
part
good.
of the that's not part 7, 8, or 9. It's not technically part of the 1 through 9. but it's its own offset. But I think Rogue One is spectacular. So
It's
I think they
before
nailed
4,
Rogue One.
right? It's before A New Hope. Like it's right before A New Hope, I think.
I forget where it falls in the timeline. I think you're right though. I think it's
which one I
before 4,
liked?
yes.
I liked the Phantom Menace with Anna.
The first one.
Yeah,
That's episode
Darth
1.
Maul,
Yeah, when
and
Anakin
then
was a
fucking
kid. Darth
Anakin
Maul. Yep.
was in the
Darth
pod
Maul.
racer. I mean, that was pretty
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
Qui-Gon
good.
Jinn.
And
Qui-Gon
Jar Jar
Qui-Gon
Binks.
Jinn, sure.
Yeah.
Jar Jar Binks was see, Jar Jar Binks was not good for the franchise. It wasn't good for the franchise. It's embarrassing. Yeah, it was so bad, dude. It was so bad. Now, see, I don't think the first 3 are as bad as people say that. Like,
I agree.
The Attack of the Clones is the second one.
Attack
right?
of the Clones, a lot of people don't like. A lot of people don't like it. See, I don't mind it. And then the third one, where Palpatine reveals himself as the Emperor, which is, I thought that was really good. I thought that was good. And Anakin kills all the younglings.
Yeah.
Which, I just thought it was really good. But people hate like the first 3. I don't know why. I think the first 3 were a lot better than the last 3 that they made.
Well, no, the New
true.
Hope one was pretty good.
Well, the original New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, no question.
No, but what was the first one? The first of the new ones that they maybe it's not a New Hope. What's the first one?
of the new one was number 7. That was I forget
With the chick.
The Force Awakens.
Yeah,
Right.
the chick, and then she goes to find
Right.
Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
I thought that one was okay.
That was the second one where she goes to find Luke.
Well, but I'm saying the first one.
The first one is where you find out that Han Solo is the father of
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
Yep. See, Tick's a big fan.
But
Tick's a big Star Wars guy.
the biggest issue with, and this is a
Tick reminds me a lot of George Lucas and Spielberg. A mix of Spielberg and behind the camera, crazy hair, distraught, very
wild genius.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Maybe a little Brian De Palma in there. Maybe a little bit of him too.
A little De Palma.
But the biggest issue with, and then we can move on here because we're not going to talk. We talked Star Wars a lot last week, but the biggest issue with number 7 was it is almost beat for beat the same movie as A New Hope. They just remade it with new characters. It's the exact same story arc, and that's a well documented criticism of that movie. But it's like, just make something new. But I get it. Then you make something new and people are saying, where's the old shit? And it's almost like a no-win battle.
The Disney Plus shows are very good. Andor,
Mandalorian.
If you haven't watched Andor, Mandalorian's great, but Andor is spectacular. Like Andor is better than the
Really?
Yeah,
that's on the Disney Plus.
It's better than Obi-Wan. It's better than the new one with the squid head with the thing.
From the Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, it's better than that. It's better than the Book of Boba Fett, which I thought Book of Boba Fett was good too.
Damn, you've seen it all.
Andor. Watch Andor, dude.
This guy knows
really good.
But which one?
Really
So should I watch that one and then The Mandalorian?
Yeah, you could. I don't think timeline wise it'll fuck you up watching either or.
Andor, it's on Disney.
Andor, Andor, Joe. So
maybe I'll watch it with Nicole.
So good, Joe. So
is that the one with Diego Luna?
That's correct. That's
love
correct.
Oh,
yeah,
big Diego guy. Yeah.
All right, Sportsman
guys.
has just turned into the Star Wars podcast.
We're just a nerd podcast. Yeah.
The warsman.
Maybe in the off season for football, that's what we turn to. Maybe we just start talking.
We just go to movies.
I think we could hold our own with movies. As long as we don't bring Bob on here as a guest.
Really want to talk about like what Giannis Antetokounmpo is doing, rebound wise, like the Celtics, they won by 50 and then they lost to the Cavs or whatever the fuck happened. Like, you really want to talk about that?
No, but you know what people do want to talk about?
Star Wars ranking movies.
And they also want to talk about what the best sandwich meat is. And that question comes from Kyle Whitaker. What's the best sandwich meat?
Chicken cutlet.
No, that's ridiculous, Mikey.
Why is that ridiculous?
Because it's a novelty sandwich. It's not.
So you're talking about like turkey, ham, roast beef? Is that what I have to deal with?
Yeah, I'm saying. Well, you're
Correct.
talking about items that are more versatile.
Turkey.
Joe is the sandwich connoisseur, so I'm gonna.
He's got his own fucking special regarding sandwiches.
All I'm saying is that, like, I agree with you.
I agree, Joe.
Cutlet sandwich is delicious, Mikey, but it's not. It's versatile that you can.
All right,
just
so I got turkey, Joe.
So Joe, so I can't do meatballs
like saying
either.
You're taking the 96 Bulls. I mean, that's just no meatballs. You could do.
Oh, okay.
What
meatballs?
I can't do chicken cutlet. Ticky could do meatballs.
Meatballs, you can have it in different variations of Italian sandwiches. You go like the chicken
I can
cutlet
make
is
20 different chicken cutlet variation sandwiches, Joe. Off the top of my head, just like that. Boom.
fine. Keep chicken cutlet then.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go with. I'm not gonna go with. Everybody goes turkey. It's not turkey. I would go with prosciutto.
Wow.
As a true Italian, it's the
Prosciutto's
best.
good.
It's the best deli meat. If you want the right answer, though, it's probably ham. That is the most versatile for sandwiches. You do honey ham, black forest ham. You do like, I mean, it's just you could throw it in any sandwich, and it just it pulls its weight.
It's versatile meat.
This show has gone completely off the rails, man. We are completely off. We go from the Dagobah system to prosciutto de Parma. What are we doing?
All right, everybody. We just lost Joe and Mikey. It's probably on me and my Wi-Fi. I apologize. The whole episode, I know they're freezing a little bit, but I think this was a fun one. It was, and we were really getting into it there at the end. I was having a lot of fun, but it's the way it goes. Still an hour and a half. We will be back next week. I'll be in my new apartment. Fast Wi-Fi. That should be the end of Wi-Fi issues. I know it's been a long time with me in that Airbnb, but we should be on track for the future here. But that's going to do it for another episode of The Sportsman. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the Instagram and to the YouTube. Fire your questions over there on the Instagram. Mr. Anderson will field them and then kick them back our way, and we will answer them at the end of each episode. And we'll get to more than 2 when the Wi-Fi doesn't crap out. But that's going to be it for The Sportsman, and we will see you all next week.